So the messenger RNA or the mRNA is a long RNA which constitutes only 2 to 5% of total RNA. Now why so less? The reason is it's something like when you receive a SMS in your mobile phone, the moment the message has been read and there is no need of having that message anymore, we simply delete it or it goes into the bin. So in the same manner, the messenger RNA is used as a message carrying RNA, and the moment message has been read, protein formation has occurred. So if there is no more need of this messenger RNA, it will be broken down into smaller component to form more messenger RNA or tRNA, rRNA. That's why this is the most quickly broken down type of the RNA. So that's why it constitutes only 2 to 5% of total amount of RNA in a cell. And remember, its function is to bring instruction from DNA for the formation of a particular type of polypeptide. So it brings the message, coded message of DNA in the form of codon, and then protein formation will take place. That's why it is also called as the informational RNA, or also called as the genetic RNA, because it will carry the message of DNA. The instructions are present in the base sequence of the nucleotide and it is called as genetic code. So its information is in the form of genetic code, also called as codons. 3 adjacent nitrogen bases will specify a particular amino acid. We have done that already. It's always 3, like here also 3. So 3 adjacent nitrogen bases will be carrying the information for a particular amino acid, and that 3 nitrogen bases would be called as codons. Then formation of the polypeptide occur over the ribosome. That means mRNA has to join with the ribosome. So we all know how it happens. It happens with the help of the 5' end joining with the 3' end of the rRNA. We have already done that before. So this joining ensures that ribosome remains attached to the messenger RNA so that protein formation can start. And the messenger RNA attaches to the ribosome, and tRNAs then attaches with the messenger. So messenger RNA joins with 2 things here. You can see one with the rRNAs and second is with the tRNA. tRNA continues to come and go because it brings amino acid and can go away, but attachment with the rRNA is permanent throughout the process of the protein formation. Then one more thing you can remember, that the messenger RNA in the case of the eukaryotes is formed in the form of hnRNA. We have already done hnRNA, if you remember, the inactive form of the messenger RNA in the nucleus. Then it undergoes capping, tailing and splicing. Capping occurs at the 5' end, tailing at the 3' end. Splicing is the removal of the non-working portions, which I have drawn as black portions here. White portions are the working portions. Non-working portions are called introns. Working portions are called exons. Details will come in translation topic, don't worry for that. So the removal of the non-working parts and joining of the working part is called as splicing and then ligation. This will turn hnRNA into messenger RNA. Now it is transported to the cytoplasm to start functioning. Function is what? Protein formation. So remember, it constitutes 2 to 5% of total RNA. Then there are types which depend upon the number of genes, because number of genes, if there are 10 number of genes, 10 type of mRNA will be formed. And remember, it can be very small and it can become very huge in size, and the molecular weight also. It can be 6 to 30s in its S value. It is short-lived. Why short-lived? Because I told you, if the message has been finished, no more message required, it will be broken down. So it is the most unstable type of RNA. Then there are no modification, because if modification occur, then it will bring mutations. And then it undergoes no coiling, it undergoes no bending, because if bending and coiling occur, then message will not be read properly. This also will bring mutations. Its formation occurs during cleavage. The enzyme involved is RNA polymerase type 2. And remember, messenger RNA is of 2 types, polycistronic and monocistronic. This topic will come again in translation topic. Right now I can only tell you this much, that in the case of the prokaryotic machinery, a piece of mRNA can produce more types of polypeptides. But in the case of the eukaryotes, one piece of mRNA will code for only one polypeptide. So that means it is monocistronic in eukaryotes and it is polycistronic in the case of the prokaryotes. Just remember P for P, polycistronic for prokaryotes, monocistronic for the eukaryotes. Remember, splicing and capping requires that snRNA, if you remember that concept. Details will come later anyhow. Cap will be again a post-transcription event. Remember, we have learned here post-transcriptional modification. In the same manner here also, a cap will be formed after transcription, tail will be formed after transcription. These topics will come again in detail. So the cap is made up of 7-methyl guanosine triphosphate, and the tail is made up of a long chain of A. Now this is how a mRNA look like. It has a cap, it has a tail, it has non-working portion. Non-working portion's role will come in translation once again. UTR stands for untranslated region. Untranslated region. This is the first one, so it is called leading region. This is called the tailing region. And this is the first codon, which is called as the start codon. Always AUG, rarely GUG, maximum time AUG, rarely GUG. And then this will be the whole message to be read, followed by the last one, which is called as the stop codon or termination codon. Termination codons are only 3, UAA, UAG and UGA. So details will come later. So functions are what? It attaches, the cap attaches to the 16S or 18S 3 end of the ribosome. Codon attaches to the anticodon of the tRNA, and codons carry the information for polypeptide formation.